Well, a very happy Sunday to everyone. It is Sunday, November 1st. Yes, somehow it is November. And this is the Sunday Evening Unwind. I am Maxwell Haddad. I am talking in my late night radio voice. I'm trying to get you relaxed as if you just did a pickleback shot, maybe had an edible, maybe took a Xanax, or maybe, just maybe, did all three of those things at the same time, which is where I wish I could be right now, but I'm a responsible adult who has to host a television program on the internet. So I have only done one of those things, and it's up to you to figure out which. We have a lot of fun stuff to talk about today, and I am joined by an incredible array of bearded gentlemen that you can see here. On my right, we have the namesake of this glorious channel, Mr. PJ Campbell, who for once is not wearing a Yankees hat. Thank the maker. How are you, PJ?
Well, I'm here. I got my Rangers hat on. I'm wearing a non-scary movie shirt because Mark Ellis said I didn't have any, and I had to prove him wrong by wearing my New York City Hamilton shirt and my Rangers hat because he hates the Yankees as much as you do. So, I had to go out of my way to prove Mark Ellis wrong.
Mark Ellis and I have a lot in common, and we have bonded over many of these things on many occasions.
It's true. Much to my frustration.
We are also joined by Tim Franco. How are you, Timothy?
Hello. I will try to do my chill voice as well. I don't know if it works, but yeah. I mean, you said pickleback, and that got me excited. So
yeah,
I do have some pickles in the fridge. I might have to just go drink all the juice and just leave the pickles in the jar.
If you were to drain a pickle jar of the brine, would they eventually revert back to cucumbers?
I think so. Especially if you like add water, you're like, I'm going to replace it with some more water, and then you'll get and after a couple weeks, you'll probably get a real toned down pickle juice. But then you end up with just like cucumbers after that, basically.
There you go.
Yeah.
And we're also joined by Sean Sullivan. Now, if you see here, we have October 31st, Halloween, Sean Sullivan hanging out here with some spooky jack-o'-lanterns. But it's November 1st, and so we have Christmas, Sean Sullivan hanging out with his tree and his lovely Santa hat. The Sean Sullivan action figure comes with an array of possible outfits and accoutrements for the low price of $299.99. Pre-orders are up now on our TeePublic. How are you, Sean?
I was going to make a joke about how I hate picklebacks, and I'm.
And you can't.
Look, Max, I'm here. I just feel like I should also be using my chill voice. It's been a day. I'm feeling extra silly, and I think we're going to end up talking about some sad stuff today.
Your hair has quite a magnificent swoop.
My hair's doing a thing. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I don't love it.
What time is your punk rock concert later tonight?
Well,
me and Sean are in a band together.
Yeah.
Is it Arizona time, California time, or New York time?
Very confusing now because, as everyone knows,
I'm lost.
If you didn't know, you should. Last night was daylight saving time. We went back an hour. I think it's incredibly stupid. But Arizona and Hawaii, and then a couple other U.S. territories, the only states in the 50 states that don't do it. So in the past,
we stay the same.
When PJ and Tim would be at the same time as as Sean, now they are not.
No.
So now they're an hour difference, and that means PJ and I are only 2 hours difference.
But we're always the same, missing each other in our hearts.
I wasn't even going there, but what a beautiful sentiment to start off the evening. Before we get started talking about absolute nonsense and bullshit, let's take a quick look at what we have coming to the channel in the next few days.
Chris Adams is here tonight. What's up, Chris?
Hi, Chris. Hello,
Chris Adams.
Reefus on Brandy, Camshaft, Matt Whitehurst. Chat is full tonight, man.
Brandy, I also like my hair longer. Who said that? Wait, was that? No, that was Camshaft. Camshaft, I like my hair longer, but it's a lot to deal with.
It does take a lot of effort. I have like a gentle windblown look going on here. All right. Well, tomorrow is the official start of Merry Movie Squad. And in order to successfully bridge the gap between Scary Movie Squad and Merry Movie Squad, as well as because we watched two Tim Burton films last week, only I'm allowed to call him Tim Burton, we are starting Merry Movie Squad with
There we
Tim
are.
Burton's excellent. I think the second best Batman movie ever made, in my humble opinion. That is Batman Returns with Michelle Pfeiffer, with Danny DeVito, Michael Keaton, and of course Christopher Walken, and a whole other fun gang. It is one of Chris Clark's favorite films of all time, and I'm sure he will have a lot to say, especially because in his mind, he is the Penguin.
And we will also be joined by Janine the Machine.
Indeed, we will. Janine the Machine will be joining us, and that, to me, is thrilling. Now,
I
if
agree.
you missed last night's announcement, I'm going to quickly go over the full slate of Merry Movie Squad films because I'm jazzed about it.
Oh,
TM. So, as mentioned, we have Batman Returns, and then on Friday, we got a little Die Hard. We're going to head into Nakatomi Plaza and hang out with John McClane and Hans Gruber. If you think this isn't a Christmas film, well, you can go fuck yourself. On November 9th, Nightmare Before Christmas, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with the resplendent and dearly missed John Candy. The night before, a double feature of Trading Places and Coming to America, Jon Favreau's Elf, The Holiday, and then a little quadruple feature of animated shorts, including the Rugrats Hanukkah special, The Grinch, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and that little asshole Charlie Brown. And I'm only calling him a little asshole because that's what he was called in the film we watched last night, Trick or Treat. I'm just trying to stay on brand, folks. Then we're watching a 3-in-a-row Christmas Carol adaptation extravaganza.
We should have done this differently.
We'll call it the Splooge Fest, Scrooge Fest, starting with Scrooge and then Scrooged with Bill Murray. And then my favorite personal Christmas Carol film adaptation of all time, A Muppet Christmas Carol featuring Michael Caine, or as he's called, Michael Caine. Then we have Rare Exports, which, if you haven't seen, is a pretty badass Christmas-themed horror film. Then Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase, but we all know the real star of that film is Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Then we have a double feature of Gremlins and Krampus. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm not German. Then we have Miracle on 34th Street, the original, not the one with the little girl from Matilda. Then we have It's a Wonderful Life, and indeed it is. Despite all the shit that's going on, this life is wonderful, and Jimmy Stewart's going to tell us why. And then on New Year's Day, a double feature of Macaulay Culkin beating the shit out of some middle-aged robbers. Home Alone and Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. And yes, we will be bleeping out the scene featuring you-know-who.
Hopefully, our ex-president at that point.
Hopefully. That would be delightful.
I would like to point out that there are some inconsistencies in Home Alone 2. Like when he's in the park, how can he hear his dad shouting?
Okay.
The magic of cinema.
I'm just saying, it doesn't make any fucking sense. I can curse on here, right?
No.
Yes. I said Splooge Fest, Scrooge Fest. I'm pretty sure fuck is fine.
You know, in my
quick.
theatrical debut, I played Ebenezer Scrooge.
You were in a film.
No.
Okay, well, we're
It was
just going to
a
mute him real quick.
Does
And
everybody
I just wanna
remember?
say, we already had a Streamlab donation from Mr. Brandon Buckingham. He donated to the Streamlabs account. And he said, just letting everyone know I'm in the process of working on my own script that is a mix of Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and Back to the Future Part 2, which is one of the most interesting sentences I've ever heard.
Well,
fun.
I hope that's a movie I get to see someday. That sounds delightful. I like all of those films, and I think that would make a great melange. Now, Tuesday. Everyone knows Tuesday is Election Day, so we are proud to present, as we've been talking about, the PJN Safe Space. November 3rd. We're probably going to start earlier than the times listed on this little graphic here. If that's the case, we'll alert y'all on the social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Salad, all of our favorites. We're going to hang out. We're going to play some games. We're going to
probably be drunk.
Yeah, there will be definitely some substance abuse. We will talk about our favorite fictional politicians in film and television, and we will keep a little bit of a monitor on the election results. It's tough now, especially where, we're all still at home. The idea of going to a party is a bad idea. We're all yearning for some support, and we're going to be here to support each other. And if you need it, we will be here to support you. Please join us if that sounds like something that appeals to you. Wednesday night is suddenly soundtrack night. I don't have the thumbnail, but as you know, I'm sure you've been seeing the commercials we've been running for the big 24-hour stream that Chris Clark is a part of, supporting the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Wednesday Suddenly Soundtrack is sort of like the prologue to that. Sean will be on, and a couple other people with Chris talking about the best video game soundtracks of all time. And what I like about that is that although Sean will be the representative of our network, we all contributed. So the list is sort of a master list of the PJCN's feelings on video game soundtracks. And I know a lot of the other people are going to be on are super gamers, super Twitch streamers. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of opinions. That is Wednesday night. And then,
Max, I don't mean to interrupt, but all of the people that will be on there will be very popular Twitch streamers like myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you have affiliate status. And that show will be airing on YouTube as well as on Sean's Twitch. Not the PJCN Twitch, Sean's Twitch, because he's an affiliate. So go there, subscribe to his Twitch. If you haven't, throw him some money. I love watching him play games.
Speaking of throwing money, we got another Streamlabs donation already from one Mr. Ferris Muthana. He just says hello.
Hey, Ferris.
Hello, Ferris.
What's up, buddy?
Hello, Ferris.
I like that guy.
There's
Thank
nothing
you for voting today.
Yes, thank you. And, we'll get there. But Thursday, we're not doing anything, I don't think, because Front Center Mez is on a little hiatus. If that changes, I'll let you know. But hopefully, fingers crossed, Front Center Mez will be back Thursday the 12th. That's the goal. Otherwise, if you didn't check out the new show, The Water Cooler Chat, where Sean and Frank and PJ got to talk about The Mandalorian. I'm sad I missed it. For an hour and a half of Star Wars nerdiness. It's up on our channel. You can watch it. I thought the episode was fucking awesome. And I will almost definitively be on next Saturday's show. And of course, again, Die Hard, Friday night. I love Die Hard. I think it's one of the 5 greatest action films ever made. I think Hans Gruber is one of the greatest villains ever put on film. I can't wait to watch that with all of you guys.
Well, and I mean, if anyone watched our stream where we talked about our 10 favorite films of all time, Die Hard is in my top 10 films of all time. So I am beyond thrilled to be hanging out and watching it with everyone. And Sean has never seen Die Hard, which I learned yesterday.
So I hope you can join us. I would love for you to join us, Sean.
I've seen one of the Die Hards, but not Die Hard.
Of course, we have a Patreon. We did an exclusive AMA this past Thursday for 3 hours that I thought went really well. If you're not already a patron and you want to watch that and you sign up at the $5 or up tier, we'll send you the link so you can catch up on that. If you are a patron and haven't watched it yet, I highly recommend it. Things get a little deep and personal. Unfortunately, and much to my dismay, we were joined briefly by Brandon Hanna. So if you fast forward through that part, I do not blame you. We are also joined by Chris Clark for a while, and a special appearance at the end by Dan Nye. And we have to give a super special thanks to all of our patron producers. We have 2 executive producers who we love dearly, Brandy Parker and Ricardo Franco. No relation to Tim as far as we know, although stranger things have happened. And our Ruby tier producers, we got Brandon Buckingham, we got Kale the Youth Critic, we got Ferris Muthana.
We do not have Ferris Muthana anymore.
Oh, Ferris left us?
Ferris left us.
That's okay.
I didn't say that. That's
He just gave us money, so that's fine.
He'll be back.
We got Stephen White. We got Mike K. We got Bador. and we got the incredible, lovely Molly Damon. So thank you. And if you want to be shouted out on all of our shows, if you want to be in the credits for Box, become a $10 and up patron, and you get those producer credits. It's pretty awesome. I've always wanted to produce mediocre YouTube content like you guys do. So
yeah, and I mean, plus you get to hang out with us on our Discord. You can yell at Tim Franco there.
Yeah, sometimes we do we'll play Among Us with our patrons in the Discord. It's a lot of fun.
Don't yell at me.
A lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, so check it out. If you even have $2 to spare, you should join the Patreon at least to come hang out with us.
Yeah, at least to get access to the Discord. We have tabs about everything from movies to physical media to video games to Broadway. We have tabs dedicated to all of our individual shows. We have a sports tab. It's really fun stuff.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree.
I mean, really, you could just steal your parents. You could just steal your parents' credit card, put it in on our Patreon.
Yeah.
Let us know. We'll open up another executive producer slot. You can subscribe there with your parents' credit card.
Yeah.
Hey, Kale, how's it going, buddy?
Yeah. And Ferris, I said it with nothing but love. I love you. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, and he donated tonight, so
yeah, exactly.
I get it. I spread my patron dollars around. Sometimes I'll leave and switch it around. I totally get it.
Yeah.
But as I always like to start the Unwind, I'm gonna go around the proverbial room and ask about your pop culture week. So let's start with you, PJ. What'd you watch? What'd you play this week? Anything in particular you want to talk about that you consumed? Obviously, foregoing what we watched on the watch-alongs, because everyone knows.
Yeah, and I mean, and I'm also not going to talk a lot about some of the stuff I was watching.
Sure, that makes sense.
But obviously, Mandalorian came back again. To Maxwell's point, go check out our hour-and-a-half long recap of it. Sean, Frank, and I went super in depth and super fucking nerdy, to the point we thought this show might be 45 minutes, and about half an hour in, we had talked about maybe 10% of the episode.
Sean may not be the most accomplished Star Wars expert I know, but he's certainly the one I know that I like the most.
Well, he may not know a ton, but he gets around.
Oh my God. If I had alcohol, I would say he left.
Oh, wait, no. My when I'm not logged in.
It used to be, yeah.
It used to be. Oh, dang it. My power comes at a cost.
But I was really happy to say that outside of that, watched a lot of scary stuff, but I'm starting a Clint Eastwood retrospective. Just such an interesting filmmaker to me. I actually picked up Two Mules for Sister Sarah, which just came out. Yeah, new 4K restoration that was done specifically
4K restoration, but not a 4K disc.
No, Kino didn't do a 4K disc on this one, unfortunately. They did for Hannibal, which I did pick up as well this week, which I'm excited about. The movie. The
Ridley Scott film.
Yep, it got a 4K release thanks to Kino Larber.
I don't hate that movie.
I don't hate it either.
I don't love it. But of all the theatrically released Hannibal Lecter films, the only one I haven't liked is Hannibal Rising.
I even have a soft spot for Hannibal Rising, but I don't think it's very good.
I really like Manhunter. If you haven't seen Michael Mann's Manhunter, which came before Silence of the Lambs, obviously Silence of the Lambs is a masterpiece, and I really, despite him being a piece of shit like Brett Ratner's Red Dragon,
it's the most movie type movie he's ever made. It's an actual film. Yeah,
well, he was a gun for hire on it. I think he was just sort of there to say action, and I think the cinematographer and other people probably did a lot of work on it. But
probably.
And Hannibal is fun. There it is. Julianne Moore, Ray Liotta. So
yeah. But I rewatched In the Line of Fire, directed by William Peterson, which I think is one of the great 90s thrillers, one of the last of a very specific kind of political thriller that we don't see a lot of anymore.
That has a quick appearance by a very thin Matt Damon, does it not?
It does not, but it does have I mean, unless I just missed it, he might. But who does make an appearance is Tobin Bell, pre-Saw. And then also there's a great, John Malkovich great villain performance from him in that movie. If you guys have never seen it,
excuse me, he's in Courage Under Fire.
Oh, Courage Under Fire. Yeah,
In the Line of Fire.
Yeah, and he's skinny because he's like a drug addict in that.
Yeah, but I really love that movie. I think it's one of Eastwood's last real action films as well. It was kind of written that way, and it really handled that way. I really like it. If you've never seen it, it makes a great double feature with Air Force One, which Wolfgang Peterson also directed. So check it out.
Awesome. Very cool. Oh yeah, you got John Malkovich, Rene Russo, Dylan McDermott, Gary Cole, John Mahoney. Music by Ennio Morricone. Wow, that's great.
It's a great movie. Like I said, it's almost like kind of the last grasp at a very specific type of filmmaking and genre that we don't see a lot of anymore. Even in the 90s, like it was starting to move away from that. And Eastwood playing like an older Secret Service agent who was working with JFK the day that JFK was assassinated, and like he carried that weight with him through his career till this new thing comes up where someone's trying to assassinate the president. So
awesome. Ferris says he finally saw Silence of the Lambs for the first time last week, and holy shit, that movie is great. Indeed, it is.
Yeah,
it's really it's pretty fantastic.
I think that overall, and this is deviating real quick but to Maxwell's point, almost every version of any one of those Hannibal movies or shows has been very, very good. It's been handled by the right people for the most part and has made really great thrillers, 3 seasons of TV, 3 really great movies, in my opinion, and 1 okay movie that's passable but not like fantastic because we never needed a young Hannibal story.
Well, there's 5 movies because you're forgetting Manhunter.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for reminding me. 4 movies then, and 1 passable movie.
Yeah. For me, Hannibal Lecter is one of my favorite fictional horror creatures. I'm kind of sad we didn't talk about him that much during Scary Movie Squad stuff. I think maybe next year we'll have to throw in Silence of the Lambs or one of those. Yeah, Nightcrawler is absolutely fantastic. I was just talking the other day.
What up, John?
Hey, about what a shame it is Jake wasn't nominated. But let's go to you, Sean. What have you been up to this week, pop culture-wise?
First, I will mention that Nightcrawler is definitely one of my favorite X-Men.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah,
that opening scene of X2 with Alan Cumming is pretty great.
It's so good.
It's fantastic.
All right, so what have I done this week? Well, I watched Thursday night. I watched The Mandalorian. Friday morning, I watched The Mandalorian. Friday evening, I watched The Mandalorian. Saturday morning, I watched The Mandalorian.
That's enough of that.
No, we watched It 2 last night.
I heard Jill talking about that on POV earlier.
I mean, Jill watched it. I was mostly paying attention.
Sure.
I haven't seen the first one, so I was a bit lost.
PJ and I disagree on which one is better, but I will say I do like them both, and they're both worth seeing. But you kind of have to see the first one to understand.
Yeah, I can't imagine watching the second.
No, me neither. Yeah. Because so much of it builds on the character relationships established in the first.
Yeah, Ferris, I'll watch The Mandalorian with you. I also played through the entire Halo series this week.
I know. I watched you scream at your computer while you were playing them.
God damn. They're way harder than I remember as a kid. But the storytelling in those games is shockingly so good. It's one of those benchmarks in my childhood that I shouldn't even say childhood, my teenage years that I just love those games, and when I'm in a funk and it's been a weird week, that's my go-to. But holy hell, they are way harder than I remember.
Yep.
Do they have difficulty settings?
Yes. Yeah.
I always play games on easy, but
that was kind of it. I was playing it on heroic.
Yeah, sure. That's the hardest mode.
Well, it's not. That's the thing. I don't know how anyone can fucking play it on legendary.
Legendary.
Fucking rip your fucking teeth out playing that damn game.
Look, some people thrive on the challenge.
Watch out for the flood.
How about you, Tim? What you been watching, playing, doing this week?
Well, I mostly been just watching horror movies to cap off the Halloween season. So I watched since we watched The Conjuring, I hadn't seen any of the Annabelle movies, so I watched all the Annabelle movies. And I enjoyed Annabelle Creation and Comes Home very much. And then I also watched Final Destination 5, which if you haven't seen it is really great. If you haven't seen any of the if you've only seen the first Final Destination movie and haven't seen any of the other ones, you could easily watch 5 and not miss anything. But I do recommend the full series minus number 4. But those are always a lot of fun. And then I've here and there I've been watching The Office. It's always like the show that I always just kind of have on. So I'm getting ready to wrap up the who knows number of finishing The Office. I'm almost done with the show again. So scary movie season is over, but I'm still going to watch scary stuff. But now I can focus on some other things, which is nice.
Sure.
Because I hadn't watched like The Trial of the Chicago 7, so I'm going to watch that at some point this week still.
Good film.
So that's kind of what I've been up to.
Awesome. So I watched Insidious.
Yes.
Because I hadn't seen it in a while, and when they announced that Patrick Wilson was going to come back for the 5th film, not only to act in it, but to direct it, which I thought was super cool news, and that Ty Simpkins is coming back, I'm like, let me throw this on. And I have to say, it's even better than I remember. It's so different than The Conjuring. It almost feels like a bridge between Saw and The Conjuring in terms of James Wan's directorial choices and style. But man, it's really effective and creepy. There's some stuff in it that really, really freaks me out in a good way. Like it sticks with me. I'm gonna watch. I know horror movie season's over, but I'm gonna watch the other ones later this week.
So real quick, can I jump into this Insidious conversation, if you will? I love this series very, very much. The first one obviously stands out because we were not expecting it. It was such a fresh and different approach. James Wan hadn't really taken off as James Wan just yet in the way that he's become known. And he really put his foot down with it. And the thing I've always thought was so cool about the second one is I think that the second one was the first Back to the Future Part 2 of a horror film or horror franchise that we'd ever really seen. But more so, when you got to Chapter 3 and then 4, it became a circular loop. And I kind of loved how everything came together as one circle, which makes this 5th one so exciting because now we're leaving the circle and we're going in a new direction.
Well, obviously they can't really do the circle because Ty Simpkins is so much older. If you don't know who he is, he was also the kid in Iron Man 3 and was just recently seen in the Endgame. Spoilers are fair game at this point.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In the funeral scene at the end of Endgame. But the other thing I love about Insidious, and it reminds me, actually, the film that most reminds me of is Poltergeist, because we had just watched that recently. I think it has a lot in common. And Lynn Shay, who I think is fantastic, is very much the Zelda Rubinstein character.
Yes.
But I love how it's sort of, anytime I watch a haunted house movie, I suspension of disbelief, of course, but there's always a part of me that's just like, leave the house.
Sure.
Just like go to a hotel or something. But the fact that the film cleverly explains that it's not the house that's haunted, but the kid that's haunted. So no matter where they go, it's going to happen, I think is really effective and chilling. And I think the Conjuring movies do something similar. I think James Wan, and obviously Leigh Whannell wrote the Insidious movies. And I think he too has become such a great horror filmmaker. I also... last night I watched Miracle. I sort of half paid attention. I've seen that movie probably 30 times. It's, I think, maybe my second favorite sports movie ever. It's a real comfort movie for me. If I'm ever feeling down, I know that's going to cheer me up. Yeah. It's so good. It's on Disney Plus. I've been watching a lot of Friends reruns on TBS and Nick at Night, and today TBS. I was confused because normally on TBS and Nick at Night, they play the episodes in order. They'll just loop through the 10 seasons. But it must have been today a marathon focused on Chandler and Monica's relationship because it kept skipping around. It was like Ross's wedding in London when they first sleep together. And then 2 episodes later, it was their wedding. And so seeing as how Chandler and Monica are my favorite Friends couple, that was fun. But I also watched 5 of the 7 episodes of The Queen's Gambit. And it's frankly killing me to be here and not be finishing it because I have found it to be absolutely extraordinary television. It is so lavish and thoughtfully put together. The writing and directing are exemplary. Every episode is written and directed by Scott Frank, who was Oscar nominated for writing Logan, who made the film The Lookout. He also wrote Wolverine, and he's been writing and working with James Mangold and other people for a long time. Anya Taylor-Joy's lead performance is incredible, and I have a strong feeling. Thank you, John.
Welcome, John.
That's awesome. I think next year's like Emmys and Golden Globes, Anya Taylor-Joy is going to get tons of nominations. But the other thing that's so interesting is the filmmaker Marielle Heller, who made like Can You Ever Forgive Me and Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood and Diary of a Teenage Girl. She's a major character in it, acting, and she knocked my socks off. I always felt that her films have attention to detail and specificity to it that gets to a very empathetic and human level. And she brings that same quality to her acting, and it was really incredible to see. I had read an interview with her where she said she wasn't sure what next film she wanted to do after the Mr. Rogers movie, and she was looking for a new challenge. And she had done some acting before, but this is definitely her biggest role, and I think it paid off super well. And funnily, she's also married to Jorma Taccone.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
So that's quite a talented family there. But yeah. Even if you don't like chess or think chess is boring, I cannot recommend The Queen's Gambit highly enough. It's really fantastic.
Queen of Kotway is real good too. If you get a chance, as far as chess is concerned.
So sad that the young girl from that film passed away.
Yeah, but I really want to see that.
I think Queen of Kotway is on Disney Plus.
I believe it is.
With Lupita Nyong'o and David Oyelowo.
Yeah, definitely.
And of course, the Bobby Fischer movie from back in the day is real good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I do want to check this one out. You got me real hyped off the performance thing alone, so I'm gonna have to see it.
Anya Taylor-Joy's eyes are like the greatest special effect in filmmaking right now.
Yeah, not wrong.
I don't know if I've ever seen anyone who has such pronounced whites in their eyes, and it just makes her so expressive. It's really remarkable.
Yeah, she could have been Alita in live action without.
I said that to Liz earlier. I said if they cast her as Alita, they wouldn't have needed CGI. But I love Rosa Salazar.
No, I do too. That is not a.
Yeah,
by the way, I really
do we like the eye effect on Alita though?
I kind of do. I think it works. I think it works for the world that Rodriguez built. But I'm also a fan of that movie.
I am too.
But yeah, and of course, she's also the star, and that was her breakout role of one of Tim's favorites that I like a lot too, the Vivitch.
The bitch.
And she's in New Mutants, which I haven't seen yet, but we'll watch when it comes on VOD in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's The Queen's Gambit. Really, the score, everything about it is so wonderful.
So I want to talk a little bit, something you hit on earlier. Patrick Wilson making his directorial debut, by the way.
Yeah.
For Insidious Chapter 5 is fucking awesome. I just think this is so cool. He's been around so many talented filmmakers. He and James Wan have worked together for a long time, and him doing one of the Insidious films as his very first directorial film makes so much sense.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, we've seen time and time again that actors can very often make great directors because, when you're working with great filmmakers as he has, it's learning on the job. You can study and learn. Like with James Wan, he's worked with so many times. But he's also been in so many other great films. But what's interesting about Patrick Wilson is the last time an actor was nominated 2 years in a row for the Tony Award for Best Actor in a Musical was Patrick Wilson in 2001 and 2002. He was nominated for starring in The Full Monty and then the next year in Oklahoma. And that's hard to do, and no one's done it since him in the lead actor in a musical category. So his career has just been fascinating to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, he has an incredible voice, as you saw in Phantom of the Opera. I would love him to do more musicals on film. He's great in Little Children, which is a really great, very dark, hard-to-watch movie with him and Kate Winslet and Jackie Earle Haley.
He was real great in the early 2000s in the Alamo remake as well.
And I like him a lot in Watchmen.
Yeah,
Hard Candy also another hard one to rewatch, but
that's a movie I thought was real good, but I'm not sure I would go to turn it on again.
Nope,
anytime soon.
Of course, like the Conjuring films, Aquaman, the A-Team. He's excellent in the A-Team as the CIA spook. There's just so many. He's so talented, and I think that him jumping into directing is going to be so fun and so interesting. And the thing I like about this specifically is that Insidious is a very character-based horror franchise. And I think that it's the perfect place for someone like him to cut his teeth, because if you're going to be a filmmaker, one of the things that's very important, in my opinion, is making sure your character work is strong. And this is a perfect place to make sure your character work is strong. And I think it's something that even Leigh Whannell learned a little bit more of with Insidious Chapter 3, which was his directorial debut, and is mostly seen as the weakest film in the franchise. And I do agree that it is. And I think it's the one that has the least amount of character work. And I think that his newer films, both Invisible Man and why am I blanking?
Upgrade.
Thank you. Are very character based and very character focused in a way that Insidious Chapter 3 was not. And I think that this will be something good for Patrick Wilson. The one question I had, they very much were like, Ty Simpkins is coming back, and we definitely also have Patrick Wilson coming back, but there was nothing about Rose Byrne. Is Rose Byrne going to come back?
Maybe they're still working out the details.
Yeah.
I don't know. Patrick Wilson is also fucking great in season 2 of Fargo, where he played the younger version of Keith Carradine's character. And also, I didn't realize this, but apparently he plays the voice of the president in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Yep. Yeah, Patrick Wilson creeps out there. Yeah.
Can I, my opinion on the whole thing is, you guys are so knowledgeable about movies.
Yes. It's almost like I had to write movie trivia.
It's almost like
over here, like
it's almost like Tim competes in a movie trivia show, and it's almost like I spend a lot of money on film school.
Yeah,
for some reason.
I thought about doing movie trivia, but
I'm not. I think you would need a ton of work to do that.
Frankly, you can barely hack it at the Star Wars trivia. So,
yeah,
you burnt. I'm kidding.
I think BJ would like me to quit.
I would
doing Star Wars trivia.
I really would. Don't send this to Christian. Anyone that I am influencing one of the players.
But I'm gonna be curious to see.
I don't think Christian would be that sad if if I was the competitor you convinced to not play.
I'm assuming that both James and Leigh Whannell will be producers on Insidious 5.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
I'm sure Leigh's even writing it.
Probably, and that'll
I don't think he's writing it. I think they got the story by credit, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay. Well, even story by is still something as far as that.
Yeah.
Sean, you are very knowledgeable about boxes, so don't sell yourself too short.
And I do know.
You know what? I did get rid of my box collection aside from the boxes we've opened.
I did open a box on our watch along last night.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that was fun. What's up?
Oh, what up,
Steven? How are you? So look, we were met with some very sad news yesterday.
Yeah, it feels like forever ago at this point.
I couldn't remember if it was 2 days ago, and that, of course, is that Sean Connery passed away. Look, I'm not going to bury the lead here. As a human being, he's problematic. He had some opinions, particularly his opinions about what you can and cannot do in terms of physical harm to women are vile and disgusting, and we do not condone those. That being said, he is arguably one of the greatest movie stars of all time. And what I think was especially incredible about him is that he was able to walk the line between movie star and serious actor in a way that a lot of people try and don't always succeed, because he could do great character performances and also these just like super charming leading roles, of course, starting with Dr. No as James Bond. I mean, I think there's been some really great actors to play James Bond since him, but James Bond as a film series and a character on screen would not be what it is if it hadn't started with the Scotsman that we all.
Well, look, and we'll get a lot into it because we're going to be talking about a bunch of his movies and stuff. But the truth of the matter is,
it's possible. This is a good point. That interview was decades ago, and people's views do shift. But I still, it's hard. I don't want to give anyone a pass for that sort of thing. But people can grow, and
I've never seen this interview. I will have to do my research.
Brandy said she's never seen a James Bond movie. Well, I'm expecting next year that we're going to be watching a couple on the channel, so maybe you can watch them with us. And I know that we've talked about doing a Survivor Island for our James Bond movie, so that could be fun too, especially with Tim, and we'd maybe have to get the second most knowledgeable James Bond fan I know, Mikey K. And that's not Mike K, that's Mike Kalinowski. He would probably hate that I just called him Mikey K, but
no, he's okay. You can call him Mikey second James Bond guy. I think
Mikey
that's
second.
That's why he went by in the showdown, right?
Yeah. Mike, the second best at James Bond, Kalinowski.
Mike, the henchman to my villain.
He's the odd job. So what do you guys,
Okay. I was just like making sure there was nothing else because I
know you have a lot to say about Mr. Connery.
I have a lot to say. I mean, I've made it no real secret that Connery has had a major influence on me from a very young age. I watched the James Bond movies, and they've meant a lot to me. And I posted this story, and you've probably heard this story before, and I swear to God, it'll probably be the last time I ever tell it on this channel. When I was 6 years old, my parents took me to see The Rock in theaters. The movie, not the wrestler. And for those who don't know, The Rock was Michael Bay's second film. It had Sean Connery, Nicolas Cage, and Ed Harris. And it's a film that is basically a sequel to the James Bond series about what would have happened if M16 or MI6 had burned him and he had ended up in prison and what would have happened with that. And it is such a great film. It's a film that really left a huge impact on me at an early age. And so it's weird, man. Like, Connery was like the real movie star. Like, before I knew about anyone else, I knew who Sean Connery was through Bond, through Highlander, through The Untouchables, through The Rock. Like, he seemed next level. He seemed so untouchable. Really, like, I mean, I guess pun fully intended.
I was going to say pun intended.
Like, it seems so weird yesterday to wake up to the news. It didn't help that we had also been up like super late the night before, and I had barely slept. And so I saw the news, and I couldn't really process it right away because I was already exhausted. But his movies, especially his Bond run, were cinema defining. Like, Dr. No, From Russia with Love, and Goldfinger are three of the greatest spy films of all time. And I think that each one progresses to the point where when you get to Goldfinger is the film that the Bond series is known for. Like, everything that Bond is confined to what happens in that film. Goldfinger sets the standard for what Bond is. Dr. No and From Russia with Love are very different movies comparatively in the pantheon of Bond in what Bond is known for now.
Yeah.
And I don't think his performances were ever matched outside of those three. I also don't think those movies are ever touched outside of those three in the 7 that he did overall. Never Say Never Again withstanding, I think his performance is very good, but it's also 20 years later or whatever it is that he comes back.
It's also a fake James Bond movie.
It's a real James Bond movie not made by Eon. It's very confusing.
It's fake.
Someone explain that to me. What the hell does that mean?
So
talk to me like as if I didn't know anything about movies.
So essentially, they were the fourth film in the series is Thunderball, and it's funny because Thunderball for a long time.
Jake. Love you, buddy.
What's up, Jake? Thunderball was looked at as a film that was very popular and one of his best, and I think it's actually funny because I think the three of us here who like the Bond films a lot all agree that we don't really like Thunderball. I think that there's been a reevaluation towards it, and I consider it one of the weaker Bond films. But when they were making the movie, it was written and being produced by another gentleman alongside Ian Fleming. Then Fleming fired him, made the movie, but the dude managed to sue Eon and Fleming for the rights to hold on to Thunderball as a story. So when the 80s rolled around, he decided to redo it as Never Say Never Again, and he got Sean Connery to come back. Then he was going to do it again in the 90s with Timothy Dalton, and it was going to be called Warhead 3000 or Warhead AD or something. So this dude was literally going to make Bond films that were outside of the Eon canon as long as he could off the same story.
Because he had the rights
So that story.
He had worked on the story for Thunderball with Ian, and he he sued him for the rights and he won. So he won the rights to that story.
Yeah.
His name's Kevin McClory.
Now,
and
stupid
that's why-
question here.
Yeah.
Was Timothy Dalton also a James Bond?
Yes,
Yes.
in the 80s. He made 2.
He was in 2
And-
films.
So what was weird, and as anyone knows, those early Bond films had Spectre and the villain Blofeld that Dr. Evil is based on. All of those characters and stuff were tied into Thunderball, and Eon lost all of it and
Yeah.
could no longer use it. And so it wasn't until like the late 2000s, this guy finally passed away, and his family sold the rights to it back to Eon, which is why Spectre became Spectre in the movies now with Daniel Craig, because they had a totally different group called Quantum that ended up being like an offshoot of Spectre, as it turned out, and Blofeld was behind all of it. But it kind of comes out of left field because there's no build to it, because they didn't know.
Yeah, they should have just kept Quantum. But that's
that's
a
besides.
separate tangent.
Yeah. But look, we'll talk more about some of his other movies, but I watched those 3 specifically today because to me, those defining films as far as his career has so many incredible films, but those 3 Bond films specifically define his entire career. They define cinema. He left his mark that will forever be tied to that character in that world. And I think that no matter how you feel about him, that's an incredible legacy to leave behind if it was only that. But then you look at everything else he did.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better.
Yeah, I mean, he's a fantastic Bond. I'll be honest. When I got the news, I wasn't like upset or anything because I was like, I've been bracing for it for a little while. Honestly, like I remember within the last couple of weeks, even I had thought of Sean Connery, and I was like, he's pretty old. He's probably going to die pretty soon, and that's morbid, but that's just that I'm not going to make. That's sometimes how my brain works, and so I wasn't like shocked by it by any means. But yeah, I mean, he's a great actor. Obviously, I am a giant James Bond fan. He's not my favorite Bond, so my favorite Bond is already dead, and so I shed my Bond tears for that man, Roger Moore, who was actually a better person as well. But I do love From Russia with Love is my favorite Bond film overall. That movie is incredible. It's the best, it's the most spy movie of all the James Bond films. And it has my favorite henchman as well, which is Robert Shaw as Red Grant. So yeah, I mean, the movie's great. Sean Connery's funny because he always wore a hairpiece. I love that little fact about him as well. But yeah, I mean, he's the definitive Bond for sure because he was the one that started it, and he's so iconic in that role.
Hi, Saul.
I mean, you can.
And that's my thing is that we were to that point. Like, I get what Saul is saying, and I appreciate it. I just also think that it's such a left field choice as far as the series is concerned to be like, so there was this big secret organization, but it was really an offshoot of this other big secret organization that was also around. And it's what it is.
You can't mention them.
Right. It doesn't quite work for me. I understand why they have to do it. I'm excited, though, for No Time to Die, because I think No Time to Die will kind of wrap all of that up in a nice bow, I hope, since it's Craig's last film.
Hopefully.
And it's funny because oh, sorry, Tim, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
There's going to be a lot of people who are going to think back at Connery as young Bond, but like that version of Bond, right? And that's how they see him as an actor. For me, the other thing is we all grew up on him as the older man. And when I think of Connery, he was always Indiana Jones's father. He was in The Rock. He was in The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, like Highlander, even. Like,
Entrapment. Finding Forrester.
Yeah.
Who can forget? You're the man now, dog.
Right. The
You're the man now, dog.
Well, that movie's awful, but
I saw it in theaters. It had a very
I did too. Yeah.
And Hunt for Red October, and so
Hunt for Red October is fantastic.
Connery was older already.
Yeah, I always thought of him as older.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
kind of like Steve Martin. He's like, you always feel like he's had the white hair forever, you know?
Yeah.
Because that's just like how you kind of pictured him if you're not familiar with like Bond.
Yeah. So, it's kind of interesting. Like, and I said this yesterday, he's the only person who could literally punch a director on set and walk away from Hollywood and never make another movie. And like, that was how his career ended. Like, he made League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. He didn't get along with the director. He hit the director. The movie got finished and he never made another movie. Like, he just was ready to do what he did. And like, more power to him in a way.
Who else never made another movie? That
Gene Hackman.
director.
Oh, really? Stephen Norrington never did either.
He never direct. I mean, no, he's done some. He never directed another movie after that. He did Blade and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and
That's
so
funny.
Wow.
How do we feel here on the panel about League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
I think it's a terrible adaptation of the comic book, but a pretty fun movie.
Yeah, I mean, I have fun
It's
watching
it's a
movie.
mess, but I have fun watching it. I think it's aged fairly well now that the expectations are gone.
I mean, I've never seen it, of course, but the last time I watched it, I had a great time. I fucking love that movie for no good reason. I just like Sean Connery is like, I'm Alan Quatermain.
Yeah.
And
I love him as Alan Quartermain too,
Yeah,
because
it's great.
I mean, the thing about that is too, like Alan Quartermain, similarly to kind of what we're talking about, Alan Quartermain in those books is a middle-aged or younger guy. And so this version we got was an older retired Alan Quartermain. And so they picked someone like Connery to play that role. And I always thought that was very cool. And I have very fond memories of that movie overall, just because I saw it with my dad. It means a lot to him and I. That was that 2003? So like the same summer as like T3 also and Finding Nemo. That was a time where I was like really diving into movies and stuff. And so I have very fond memories of some of those not so great blockbusters for that reason.
That summer, I was at a summer filmmaking camp, actually.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
And we went to go see some of those movies at night because there was it was in the town of Amherst, Massachusetts, like on the college campus of Amherst.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to walk into town and like go to the movies and stuff. So all of us people there, when we had nothing to do at night, would walk there.
So obviously Bond is going to be the thing he's remembered
Saul is
for.
not a fan.
Saul is not. And I get it. It is. It's a nightmare film, but I enjoy the shit out of it. Like sometimes it's fun to just put on a movie like that, and look, Avengers 98 is similar for me. I know that movie's a fucking nightmare, but I have such fond memories of seeing it. Lost in Space is another one. WB did a lot of that in that time frame where they were making big blockbusters based on old shows that they butchered later. But that's beside the point. What were you guys' favorite Connery films outside of obviously like the Bond franchise? What was some of the stuff that you guys liked in chat? I'd love to know too. What are you guys thinking? Like, what were some of your favorite Sean Connery films?
I mean, I'll start because I'm the one here that doesn't know movies well. The film that I think of when I think of Sean Connery is League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
By the way, we're being rated right now by everyone from POV. What's up, guys?
Boo, go away. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and Indiana Jones. I mean, Last Crusade, I think is my favorite role from him. As Henry Jones Sr. He's great.
Yeah,
now someone who can actually talk more about movies. Go.
Yeah, we were talking about this the other day off stream. Like, obviously he's Bond first and foremost, but second, my mind immediately goes to Indiana Jones playing his dad. I love The Rock. I think he's fantastic in The Untouchables. That was the only time he got an Oscar nomination, and he won for it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a soft spot for First Night. I like his small role in Murder on the Orient Express.
Yep.
Zardoz. He's just done lots of fun stuff.
Zardoz.
And Entrapment is fun too. Those like last few movies he made in the 90s were all pretty good. Dragonheart. He's only the voice, but still.
Right.
Yep.
I love that movie as a kid.
Yeah, I love Dragonheart.
And also he got to work with Hitchcock in Marnie, which I think is probably one of Hitch's lesser seen films. and you should watch it if you do. No one talks about the Avengers movie he did because it is
I've literally talked about it like 3 times in the last 5 minutes.
a really terrible movie. But
I would love to see actual like director's cut version of that movie. I'd love to see what it actually looked like before the studio took the knives to it. For me, I kind of think of things like The Untouchables, which obviously he finally won an Academy Award for. I think that he is just so incredible in that film. Spoilers for almost 40-year-old movie at this point. His death scene is gut-wrenching. And I think it's truly one of like the most heartbreaking moments I've ever seen in a movie. I love The Hunt for Red October. I've talked about it before. I grew up reading the Tom Clancy books, so I really love that movie.
Tom Clancy.
But Highlander holds a soft spot in my heart. I'm a big fan of Highlander. The
Ramirez.
Yeah, I love that he's an old Egyptian Spaniard who speaks with a Scottish accent. And
There can only be one.
There can only be one. I think that movie is fantastic. Queen did the soundtrack for that film, and it's amazing. If you guys have never listened to it, Queen's did the entire soundtrack, and it's just fucking awesome. But Connery was just so cool, man. And to Maxwell's point, he did a lot with Sidney Lumet, like The Murder on the Orient Express with Albert Finney is such a great film, and it's got such a beautifully haunting ending, and I just love it so much, and I think his performance is great. It's a small part, but he's great.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, I think last night, a little bit, in January, we're going to do some Sean Connery watch-alongs. Yep. We'll probably skip the Bonds because we'll do those later, but we'll curate a couple of Sean Connery films. Definitely The Rock for sure.
One I'd love to do if we could would be The Man Who Would Be King, which I don't think it's with him and Michael Caine, which I think is a fantastic adventure film.
I don't think I've seen that one.
I think you'd love it. It's based on a rooted.
All of a sudden, I feel like Sully.
Yeah, I see that. Oh yeah, that's a great call. He's great in The Longest Day. It's like a very small part and he pops up. A great call.
Yeah, and
there has been a couple Jack Ryan.
He popped up in the end of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yep.
Yes, he does.
Yep. I also like, it's a very small role, but I also like, I love the movie Time Bandits, and he's King Agamemnon in Time Bandits as well.
That's a great choice. Dude had so many, and I'm seeing the chat right now, man. Like, everyone's talking about it. Let's see. We got Untouchables. Reefism says, The Name of the Rose, what a great choice. Finding Forrester and Highlander from Chris Taylor.
The Presidio.
The Rock and the Untouchables. The Presidio is fun.
Highlander, you know what's a fun one? The one where he's like a sheriff on the moon. Outland.
Yeah,
Outland's really fun. Outland's
really fun. Saul said,
I feel like you just made that movie up.
I didn't.
Yeah,
Outland. Look it up.
Dragonheart, decent job. I like him a lot in Dragonheart.
He's great in Dragonheart.
Darby O'Gill and the Little People. That is a straight Disney live action Disney family classic.
I've got a fucking Dragonheart poster in my room. What do you want from me?
The Dragonheart theme to the stars is one of the greatest themes ever made, and it's used in a lot of like stuff that, like, it's used in a lot of like award ceremony montages and stuff. It's great.
I saw the other Avengers movie by mistake.
I have definitely done that before. Like, looked up that movie and came up with the wrong fucking Avengers.
Can I just say that there's something so weird in that movie where a bunch of people are all dressed in giant teddy bear outfits, and it has stayed with me my entire life. Every time I think of that movie, I see the room full of people sitting at tables in colorful bear costumes, and it's very fucking confusing to me, and yet it's left some sort of imprint, and I don't get it. Okay, thanks, guys. That left me feeling awkward. Yeah, that's right. Outlander is basically High Noon on a space station. I agree.
I think it's just Outland, but
the best. He's not in The Longest Yard, Kylie. That would be Burt Reynolds.
Yep. Who's also dead.
Who is also dead. No, I did not, Steven. I'm just very confused by the bear scene.
This is why you shouldn't give me power.
We talked a little bit about Zardoz.
Yeah, we talked about it, and Saul mentioned it earlier.
And that sling outfit he wears.
And real quick, Kylie donated to the Streamlabs and asked, would you rather kick a puppy or trip on an old lady?
I'd definitely rather trip on an old lady.
Trip on an old lady.
Yeah.
Easy. I would never.
Because more than likely I'm going to hurt myself and not hurt the old lady, and I don't want to hurt a puppy.
And that sounds like it would be an accident, whereas kicking a puppy would be deliberate.
Yeah.
I like dogs way too much, and I'd feel bad if I kicked a puppy.
Yeah, I'm tripping on that old lady.
Kylie apologizes and says, 2 old white dead people, something, LOL.
I mean, she's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, hi, Jill.
Hi, Jill.
Hi, Jill.
Hi, Jill.
I can't hear.
What's your favorite Sean Connery movie, Jill?
What's your favorite Sean Connery movie, Jill?
The only one I've seen, which is the Indiana Jones one.
That's really the only one you've seen?
It's a good choice.
Great choice.
She's probably seen another one and not realized it was Indiana Jones. Like Sean fucking Christ.
I watched Indiana Jones.
I would
Who's
normally
this guy in the hat with the whip?
Oh God.
Oh, it's the guy they have the whole ride about at Disneyland. Okay, I get it now.
Oh, the chat is all excited to see Jill now.
Listen to people.
Kylie, how did you expect us to answer that? I really want to know.
Here's a question I want to ask.
Yeah.
And we can spin it towards Sean Connery. I just thought of this, but can you think of a role you want to cast? You wish you could cast Sean. You could have cast Sean Connery in an existing role out there in the world of film.
Okay.
Well,
I've got it.
Okay. Well, you stepped on Maxwell.
Maxwell's my old lady in this scenario. I was just excited. Go ahead.
Okay, so go, Sean. Go.
Ebenezer McCoy.
Who?
Ebenezer McCoy? Who's
Black
Ebenezer? Oh.
From what?
From the Dresden Files.
Yeah, okay. I can see where you're coming from.
He's a surly old Scotsman.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good.
Mine, the one I thought of that prompted me to ask this was, and I think the person who plays this role is fantastic. So it's nothing like I just think Sean Connery would also be interesting to see in it, and that's Captain Dudley Smith in L.A. Confidential.
Ooh,
which was played by James Cromwell in that movie. I think that would have been interesting.
What about you, Maxwell?
My choice is cheating a little bit because he was offered the role and turned it down, but I would have, and as great as Ian McKellen is, I think Sean definitely would have been a fantastic Gandalf.
Yeah, 100%.
And the funny thing is he turned down The Matrix, he turned down Lord of the Rings because he said I didn't understand them. And then he took League of Extraordinary Gentlemen because he goes, I didn't understand this either, but the last 2 times it happened, it was a big mistake. And he ended up in the worst of them, but
yeah.
Max, I would agree with you because that was the other one I was going to say was Gandalf. Is perfect.
Yeah. He was offered it and it just, didn't happen, but he definitely would have been fantastic.
There's so many now, like I'm thinking about things I would
Molly
like to
says, without looking, and hi, Molly, by the way.
Hi, Molly.
What are the top 4 known for movies on Sean Connery's IMDb page?
Fuck. I would.
James Bond.
I mean, I'm wondering if several of them are James Bond movies. I mean, Dr. No, Goldfinger,
Thunderball, maybe.
No, I would just stick with those 2 probably. Dr. No, Goldfinger.
I would guess one of them's The Untouchables because that's the one he won the Oscar for.
My guess would be Dr. No, Goldfinger, Untouchables, and The Rock.
No, or
either The Rock or Indiana Jones
or League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. And I say that because it's his last film, and people may click on it quite a bit trying to figure out what his last movie is because it's an algorithm-based thing. I'm pretty sure.
I would guess
the answer.
I would guess that The Rock.
Hold on, I got it. I'm pulling it
The
up
Rock,
right now.
Indiana Jones.
On his IMDb page.
A James Bond movie, probably From Russia with Love, and then.
I'm curious now.
Loading. Okay.
I don't know.
Hold on. I got it.
Okay, real quick before we get that answer, I think that one that would be very interesting.
Oh, she answered.
Untouchables, The Rock, Thunderball, Goldfinger. I was right about
Yeah.
Thunderball and Goldfinger.
Thunderball, really?
Thunderball. Yeah.
Wow.
Untouchables, The Rock, Thunderball.
I mean, as you said, that was one of his most successful ones.
Yeah, people loved Thunderball. I think it's boring as hell now, but and it's just not a very good movie, but especially coming off Goldfinger. And Goldfinger makes sense, Untouchables and The Rock, especially as Maxwell said, he won an Oscar for The Untouchables. The Rock was like a James Bond film. Technically, there's 3 on there.
Connery is Mr. Miyagi. He would have kicked all those skeleton assassins and then had a snarky comment.
So mine.
I mean, unfortunately, there is a precedent for him to do makeup and make himself look like an Asian man. So unfortunately, not far off.
Yeah, I know.
Because he does that in You Only Live Twice.
Yeah. My choice would be the Jack Nicholson role in The Departed. I would have loved at Frank Costello. I would love to see because I really love that movie, but I would have liked to see him as a villain. We didn't see that a lot. And I think it would have been a very interesting choice for him dynamically if you had put him in that film.
Interesting.
Yeah. You all right?
Yeah.
Okay. That would be my choice. I don't know if I could I can't think of a lot else that I would have put him in, but that one, for whatever reason, is the one that sticks out to me.
It'd be interesting to see. I wonder if he could pull off the kind of manic craziness that Jack goes to in the third act of that film. But
right,
I'd be down to see him try.
Yeah, or if it would be just a completely different performance altogether.
Talking about Jack Nicholson, I would love to see him do another film.
Me
I know,
too.
I miss Jack.
Mm-hmm. Him and Gene Hackman.
Yeah, I don't think we're getting anything from Gene.
No, Gene's gone.
I could see Jack coming back for the right part.
I thought there was talk at one point of something he was going to come back for, but then wasn't there?
Yeah, it was a movie with Kristen Wiig. It was a remake of a French
Tony
comedy.
Erdmann.
Yeah, and it fell apart at Paramount.
Oh, I wonder. Oh,
no, because
he's already dead, isn't he?
He's already dead in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Yeah. They have a whole part where he looks at the picture and he's like, "Dad's gone." It was that whole thing about Indy's at that part of his life where he's losing everything he has. He's not gaining anything, which is the point of Mutt being introduced, is that he earns something new and then he gets married and life continues on. Sure. Ooh, Saul has a good one. I would love to see him in the Paul Newman role in The Road to Perdition.
Oh yeah, that would be
good. Yeah,
that'd
be good.
Although Newman was great. Oh yeah, that would have been fun. Him as Alfred in Nolan's Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would like to see if I were to see Sean Connery as an Alfred, I'd prefer it like the Gotham Alfred.
I think that would have to be, yeah.
Like the TV series?
Yeah, the ex-military Alfred.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or like the TV show Pennyworth.
Yeah, I think you're thinking Pennyworth.
Well, and I mean,
in Gotham.
He has like a military background in Gotham too.
Does.
Yeah, because that's become part of the comics, and I think it's something we're also going to see in the new Batman film. There's no way you cast Andy Serkis in that role, and you aren't going to have him do something.
I didn't realize they cast Andy Serkis as Alfred.
As Alfred?
Yeah,
you didn't know that?
Yeah, he's playing Alfred.
Yeah,
Batman.
He's in the trailer, isn't he?
Yeah, you hear his voice in the trailer. He's saying that,
and like the R-Pats Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, he's the one. He's like, you've really made a name for yourself or something in the trailer, and you can. It's when you see Rob Patz pulling back up to the manor.
I'll have to go rewatch that.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant.
It's gonna be awesome. I think.
I mean, it's a Matt Reeves film. Matt Reeves has worked with him 3 times or twice.
Has Connery ever done any movies where he's got the?
Oh, bye, Max.
Oh, I'm still here to listen.
Has Connery ever done any movies where he doesn't have a Scottish accent?
No, that was my joke about Highlander earlier. Is that in Highlander we're supposed to believe that this dude's a fucking Egyptian Spaniard and he's still speaking it with a Scottish accent. And
I like because Kylie brings up.
Well, he doesn't have a Scottish accent in Hunt for Red October, right? He's supposed to be Russian, right?
Yeah, and he does a fucking Scottish accent in that movie too.
So yeah.
Just because Kylie brings up Anthony Stark. But like
Judge Doom and Roger Rabbit from Reefism.
Not Anthony, Howard Stark.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah. I didn't know what I meant.
Kylie, I mean, look, and here's the reality of all this. I hate what 2020 has taken from us. I don't want this to sound the way it's going to, but like, please just understand where I'm coming from. We're also at a point, a lot of the people that we love that are legends in Hollywood and shit are going to pass away. Like Clint Eastwood is the exact same age right now as Sean Connery.
Sean Connery was 90, and like I
My
said the other
point.
day to you, PJ, Connery was 90, and he died in his sleep in the Bahamas. That's a freaking baller way to go, if you ask me.
Yeah, and
Like-
look, I love him. We're at a point similarly where we're going to see a lot more of that, and it sucks. I hate seeing it. And yeah, the Kobe thing is still very tragic. Like Maxwell and I were together the day that happened. Like that day is going to live on forever in my mind. But the thing that I'm trying to remind myself, and it's something I've worked through a lot.
Went to the circus that day. Talk about juxtaposition.
I know.
The literal circus.
The thing I'm reminding myself now
The
is that
and
we need to celebrate the stuff that we lose and remember them without also letting it break us, because the world already sucks so much, and it's better to celebrate and remember and be like the person was awesome, and let's love the thing that they gave us. And also, like, if you can live in a way that can respect that individual, but also their memories will live on, and we'll let them live on. And we just have to accept the reality is we're all part of this mortal fucking coil. Like one day, all of our numbers are going to be up, and it's just the truth of the matter.
Real quick, Ferris says Clint Eastwood has been 90 for 10 years, and then John Pierce says, so is Roca, Ferris.
I want to just point out, although 2020 has had a lot of tragedy, there's a lot of good things to come out of 2020. I think in our community, there's been a lot of strengthening of friendships and a lot of, getting to know people a lot better.
Look at this.
I've known PJ. I knew Tim a little bit, but I never would have been, on call with them 4 times a week. I would have met Maxwell eventually, but I never would have become as close to Maxwell as I did. There's a lot of great things. I'm sure for a lot of people that's true. I mean, Kylie, you're a big POV fan. That
started this year.
That probably wouldn't have happened the way it has if it weren't for COVID. I'm just gonna say that.
And I'll say this too. I mean, Maxwell and I have talked about it frequently on here. This channel was started out of wanting to hang out with my friends during COVID. I've been in this space a long time. I was podcasting more than I was ever doing video stuff, but I wanted to do something. We've done almost 60 watch-alongs since COVID started. We've done hours of entertainment. We've done interviews with Broadway personalities. We've played games on here. We've sat and taken your questions. I love what we're doing, and Sean's absolutely right. Like 2020 has only strengthened my relationships, and honestly, like even professionally, it's helped me a ton with the Schmodown. Like I know that the virtual matches are not the way that we all want to watch the Schmodown, but it also has given me a chance to be on call for things. I can be more involved in a way that I'm not right now because I don't live in Los Angeles anymore. I live in Arizona, so I'm not always going to be in studio for things. So that's been nice too. Like 2020 has had its ups and downs, but I could never do anything without like the support of all my friends. And I think 2020 has given me that. And it gave us Box. So there's that.
The true winner of 2020.
So Saul brings up something that we discussed off stream.
Yep.
And it's, so in Skyfall, the role Albert Finney plays at the end was written with Sean Connery in mind. And he was talking about it, and then it didn't happen.
What's up, Jake? Yeah, I would have loved to see that. Also, look at that. Chris Taylor, this network has got my attention. Look, if we got any of you to start tuning in at any time in 2020, then we've done our job. Like Maxwell, Tim, Sully, Jill, I say all that from all of us. Anyone who's been on here will all agree we're a bunch of friends who like hanging out, watching movies, talking shit, and having a good time. If we've given you any sort of fun and excitement out of all of this, then hey, we did our job and I'm happy. That's all I've ever wanted. I just wanted to hang out with my friends and have a good time. And I think the channel has given us just the chance to do that.
I just want to lie on a beach and eat hot dogs. That's all I've ever wanted.
I want a hot dog.
Oh, me
that
too.
sounds
That's
so good.
That's a Kevin Malone line from The Office. In case
I want a
anyone
hot
wondering.
dog.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, I agree.
Amen,
And
Molly.
that's
Love you,
kind of
Molly.
COVID's given us a lot of that, actually. Like,
Yeah.
that's why we're all on call so often. Danny's got to get out. He's headed to go watch Chill, but thank you for hanging out, Danny. It was good to see you.
I have a question.
I don't
Who
have
is
an answer.
who is
Sorry.
Time Franco? Never heard of that.
I don't know.
Time Franco
PJ, I have a
from the
question.
beyond.
I have a question for you.
For me?
For PJ. Who is that one person we keep trying to figure out who they are?
I have no idea.
We got to figure it out. We got to know. We got to know.
We gotta know.
Time Franco.
No,
Yes, Time Franco.
Oh.
I scared Tim or I scared Sean earlier with my my
PJ
joke about that.
asked
Was
me.
that Debbie Downer?
It was.
PJ like sent me a text. Sean, I have a really important question. ... I'm like, oh shit! Did I say something on a stream I wasn't supposed to? Did I
God.
like
No.
what the fuck did I do? And then it was an inside joke.
I totally get that, BCD. I took a Xanax earlier. I think all of our anxiety has been flaring up,
Especially
and
with the
it's
election.
not going to get any better.
No.
But there is no shame, and in fact, I'm a big proponent for destigmatizing talking about mental health issues. We all have anxiety. We've all experienced panic attack.
I'll say this.
Time Franco is related to Ricardo Franco.
I mean, I legit do have an uncle, Ricardo, but I don't believe it's the same Ricardo as our patron.
I don't know. Maxwell and Ellie are damn cute too.
Yeah,
They are pretty freaking cute.
I'm just saying.
I'm biased, but I think
love when people say you're so cute, and like just the go-to is to make the ugliest.
What does that feel like?
I think Chris Clark and his pillow he screams into.
yeah.
I think Dipper and Maybell are the cutest.
Dipper and Mabel are the cutest.
I think we can all just be cute together.
Look, and I'll say this real quick, not to step on all this. I see Molly saying too, this week's going to be hard. She's going to be refilling one of her things. Look, guys, I am a proponent for weed. Everyone knows I'm a proponent for weed. I have been perpetually high since COVID started. It's kept my anxiety super at bay. I was so high last night, I passed out on a Zoom call with these people.
I'm aware. I just want to say, and this is such a simple thing, but I think everyone needs to hear it ever so often. It is okay to not be okay.
Yeah,
yes, Demi
absolutely.
Lovato.
Like,
yes.
I really like. I guess this has kind of become like what we were doing on the Q&A because we're talking like directly to the chat. I know what you guys are feeling. We're all feeling it right now, and it's okay not to be okay. I've lived the last year and a half that way. Maxwell, Sean, Jill, and Tim have been at ground zero for a lot of stuff that's happened with me, and I've persevered and I've gotten through it, and I've been there for them too. We're all dealing with this shit, man.
This has been PJ's look for the last year and a half.
Yeah.
This is Debbie Downer.
Molly, I wish it was legal here too. I'm just saying. I can't.
Molly, let us know. We could send you a care package.
But I really am about making sure that you take care of yourselves. It's okay to not be okay, though. And
it's legal if no one knows, Molly.
It's legal if you don't get caught.
Johnny says he is disabled due to his mental health issues, so I understand not being okay. We're here for you, bud. You have our love and support. If you ever need anyone to talk to, you can always DM us.
Yeah, I mean, we're always around.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I do mean that. Like,
yeah.
I love every single one of you, whether you're a Patreon or not, whether you've ever like.
I mean, I like the people who give us money a little bit more than the people who do. I'm only half kidding.
I like the people that watch Box more than the people that don't. But that's just me.
But look, I'm Jewish, so I'm heavily money motivated.
I just love all of you, and I love everyone who's.
These are the jokes. I'm sorry.
Fucking hell!
Jokes all day.
I just,
Hey, Star Drew. Boo to you too, I guess, or more like, boo. I don't know how I'm supposed to respond to that other than
boo.
Brandy, I feel that way too high, way too hard,
way too high. Okay, PJ.
I don't.
Sean,
I smoke.
I know you're.
I like that I'm perpetually becoming known as just being high to you guys all the time at this point.
You're like a walking Kevin Smith movie.
I am a walking Kevin Smith movie. That was one of our Q&A questions. How did Kevin Smith influence my life? And I was like, well, here, let me talk to you about that.
I was gonna ask a question, but then I realized it would be ruining a Sunday Soundtracks episode we have coming up, so I'm not gonna ask it.
Spoilers.
Trying to think of other things to talk about.
Look, I just want to say, I mean, we've totally gone off the rails of like talking about anything Sean Connery related, but I just want
No, that's fine. That's the whole point of the show. We're just here to.
I just want to reiterate how much I love every single one of you. Thank you guys for being here, and thank you to everyone who tuned into our stupid little channel.
Max, I gotta know what's the question. At least maybe we can. We don't have to answer it, but we can tease.
Well, I was gonna ask what's everyone's favorite holiday or Christmas songs, but I know much like we did the Halloween playlist, we're gonna do that for holiday songs. So
Favorite Christmas song?
That Ferris, that is a bold-faced lie. You have talked to me sober more frequently than you probably have not.
Kylie says, as someone who dealt with suicide and depression, please talk to someone you matter and people care. Yeah, there is always someone to talk to. Even if it's me and I don't know you, if you DM me, I will help you any way I can. And I think everyone else here feels the same way. There are hotlines you can call. Everyone matters, and everyone has people who care about them. Even if it doesn't feel that way, reach out.
I know how hard it is too. We've all been there.
Is our generation just the generation with terrible?
Yeah, because our
no. So here's my theory on I think what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I think our generation is the first generation that is comfortable to
it.
openly talk about it and deal with it head on, and not stigmatize it and not hide it. I think our parents' generations and our grandparents' generations were dealing with the same shit. They just hid behind it and then drank themselves to death or smoked themselves to death.
I'd also like to remind people that the greatest generation left us with a shit show, and I think our
to
make it better.
Did you guys watch SNL last night with John Mulaney?
I did.
No.
I watched it.
He had a greatest generation joke that had me cackling.
Yeah.
Kylie posted suicide hotline 800-273-8255.
Thank you.
Starger, we're talking about the greatest generation in the world that they left us. I think that's why everyone's anxiety so much can be pegged to where it is. So, look, SNL was amazing last night, though.
John Mulaney.
John Mulaney, of course it was.
I love John Mulaney.
Is that the one before us or after us? That's after us.
No, that's Gen Z.
Gen X is
before us.
Yeah, because Starger is a little bit older than us. So,
and then we're millennials. And yes, when people use the term millennials, they think of children, but oldest millennials now are like 38.
We are pushing 40.
Yeah, so
the oldest millennials, I believe, technically is my age, 36, because that's the cutoff.
Oh, is it?
84, I believe, is the cutoff.
John Roker's first set of kids are now millennials.
Correct.
Yeah.
I went to the Natural History Museum last year, and they had a great John Roca exhibit.
I missed that.
Oh my god.
I don't even have a way to get any farther with this.
Hey chat, if you guys want.
Hey Johnny, stay good, man. If you need anything, we're here for you. Have a lovely evening.
Have a great night, Johnny. Thanks for being here, man.
Chat, I mean, this isn't an AMA, but if you have any, let's say this: if you have any movie or TV related questions, pop them in.
Or anything.
Yeah, and let's whatever you want to talk about. I got to get out of here in a little bit because I have work to do. But
did you all watch that horror free for all in the chat?
Work to do.
Yeah, I hope everyone had fun with the horror free for all. By the way, because I fucking poured.
I'm just putting this out there that had I been given the opportunity to compete, I would have won. I'm just saying.
Wow.
Just saying.
Oh.
Ferris, shoot. What's your question?
What's the Broadway question?
To answer your question, yes, I will be in your Broadway production. I can't sing, Ferris, but I will be there.
Jake Berlin says you crushed it, PJ. Bravo. Yes, let's all give PJ a round of applause.
We were raising though.
No, I can't.
Sing a song, Sean.
Tim doesn't have to applause because he lost on your questions, but otherwise.
Hey, Tim, but Tim freaking killed it though.
No, Tim, you did a fantastic job. I was rooting for you,
Tim
but
won out
you
on
did
freaking
proud.
overtime.
No, I haven't yet, but it's on my to watch list, John, because Peg and Frost are both in it.
Hey, PJ.
Yeah.
Have you
Oh god.
have you watched Fast Color yet?
All right.
Fast Color, Bly Manor.
Bly Manor.
You guys know how I like to write for a TV show and not have the time to watch the stuff you want to watch because you're
If
watching.
you don't keep watching more movies, you're going to run out of questions to write. It's literally your job to watch movies.
I know, but Bly Manor currently is not a movie yet. Well,
Yet.
there's a version of it.
We're waiting for that question, Ferris, by the way.
He might be sending it in the.
What makes the Broadway experience different? And what parts of the experience speak to you?
So look, I love film. I went to film school. I got a master's in television management. So like film medium was my love. But there is a exchange of energy between performers on a stage and audience in a theater that cannot be replicated when you're watching something filmed.
Agreed.
It is visceral. It is live. Anything could happen. I've been to shows before where there was a technical error and they had to stop. And I find that so thrilling because it reminds you that these are not robots. They're not audio. This isn't the carousel of progress. It's not audio animatronics. These are human beings acting and singing their heart out 8 times a week, normally on Broadway.
One of my favorite theater. I was gonna say, okay, finish.
No, go ahead.
Because just piggybacking on what you said, one of my favorite live theater moments, I saw the producers at the Pantages here, and it was Jason Alexander and Martin Short. And one of my favorite theater moments was right after the Keep It Gay number. Martin Short forgot his line. And so they spent literally 15 minutes just doing these like outrageous gestures at each other and just dying and laughing. And like the audience was like, oh my God, they totally forgot. They were breaking character. They were laughing. I'm the honest to God, it lasted for like 10, 15 minutes of just straight laughter. And then Jason was like, okay, no. This is where you say this.
Yeah.
I say, and then they like picked it up from there. But like that whole, like, you're not going to see that on TV. So like just moments like that are just so pure and so like,
yeah,
my favorite moment of all time.
It's thrilling. You just never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's why I find,
obviously,
I watch movies over and over again, but I find theater especially so rewatchable because every time you go, it's a different performance. Yes, the songs and the set are the same, but an actor is going to make a different choice. And the energy of the audience can directly reflect the performances. Like I've been to some Wednesday matinees where it's all like elderly people who got charted in on buses and they're like falling asleep and quiet. And it's just not as good of a show as if you were there on a Saturday night so it's, and yeah, there are there are definitely plays that will interact with the audience. There was a revival of Hair back in 2009. That's still one of my favorite productions. They were coming in the audience. They were gyrating on you that you were getting your hair stroked. It was awesome.
I mean, we even saw The Woman in Black and like they walk into the audience and go through the audience and it was incredible.
That's one of the scariest things I've ever seen.
Me too.
And I think there's so little horror theater, but like, as opposed to a horror film or even a haunted house, like with that play, it felt truly immersive. I love immersive theater. Like there's a thing called Sleep No More that I think I've talked about before. PJ's muted.
I'm not a huge Broadway.
Talking to someone else. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm not a huge Broadway person like you are, Max. But what many people won't believe about me is that I was in show choir for 2 years in high school. And I have, some musical theater background through that. And so because of that, like, I love it. I know what goes into it and I really respect it. It just doesn't, hold me as much just because I'm in LA and not Broadway. So not New York. We have some shows like I've seen, but mostly I've just seen the Book of Mormon 3 times.
I've seen the Book of Mormon like 6 times. So yeah, it's my favorite. Sorry. It's not some people's cup of tea. But yeah, no, I did theater since I was 9. Like I've always
the play.
I took PJ to see The Play That Goes Wrong.
I don't know what that is, but I want to see it.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's fantastic. There's a British theater troupe called the Mischief Theater Company, and they specifically make very slapsticky things. They did a show called The Show That Goes Wrong, which I think is now on Amazon Prime and Broadway HD. But the play that goes wrong is literally about these actors at a theater company putting on a play, and everything that can go wrong does go wrong. They forget the lines, pieces of the set fall apart. It is hilarious.
Yeah, it's awesome if you ever get a chance to see it. It is literally the last thing I saw on Broadway before everything closed.
There is a parody Star Wars musical that was playing off Broadway for quite a while.
Yeah.
Sully, did you ever play the dad or grandpa or a judge or something?
I played. Let's see, my.
I think what she's saying is that you're bearded, and
I wasn't as bearded in high school.
No, I've seen photos. You look. Of all the people I know, you looked so different in high school than you do now. I think you look much better now for what it's worth.
Thank you.
Weird.
I think you've grown into yourself.
I played Trekkie Monster, which kind of just sounds like Cookie Monster, Yoda, whatever. We did not do the famous Trekkie Monster song.
The internet is great for porn.
The internet is for porn.
The internet
is for porn.
Great for porn. We did not do that. I did. I was a tree in Nightmare Before Christmas.
Whole tree?
Oh, were you like an elm or a Douglas fir or a pine, a palm?
It's the tree that says everybody screams.
Everybody scream. Everybody screams.
I was.
Crime roll.
I was. Will Ferrell for Don't Fear the Reaper.
Oh.
Figure that
Kylie said she loves the Spider-Man musical. I will say I was impressed by the technical theater aspects of the Spider-Man musical and leave it at that.
Well.
Yeah.
Hello, Jake. How are you?
You didn't love Green Goblin's show-stopping number?
Every time
so, real quick, guys, I do have to hop off, but I don't want the party to stop. But I love all of you. Thanks for being here.
We'll keep going for a bit without you.
Yeah, exactly. But thank you, guys. I'll see everyone soon. I have to go to work, and I love all of you. Bye, everyone.
Good night, PJ.
Night.
Love you.
Do you have any favorite musicals, Tim?
I haven't seen too many, so but I really really love Newsies.
Mm-hmm.
And I have seen Newsies. Not on Broadway, but I've seen like the Broadway tour of it.
Sure. There's a great pro shot of
Newsies,
it too.
Newsies is like the one thing. Like I always think if I could ever put the work in and learn the routine from a Broadway show and the dancing and stuff, it'd be Newsies. I fucking love that show, and whenever I listen to it, I do my own version of the dancing from Newsies because I'm not nearly that athletic anymore.
You're saying you can't do 12 pirouettes in a row?
Yeah, no, ain't gonna happen. Maybe if I have a couple beers, I could try it. But I love Newsies.
When you did that, did you do the Friends Online version as Trekkie Monster?
We did. We didn't because it was technically choir and not musical theater. We did more medley stuff. So we did For Now and
everyone's a little bit racist.
We did not do that. It was high school.
For high school.
I always think of I'm not wearing underwear today. No, I'm not wearing underwear today.
Everything we did had to have been high school appropriate. So
sure. I wish you could meet my girlfriend that lives in Canada.
Why choose to do Avenue Q if you can't even do
that's a weird choice.
Yeah.
Well, it was choices. Thrown in the middle of a bunch of other, we basically, the way our choir ran our shows, we would do, if it was a Broadway based show, we would do
there's so many other options. Avenue Q.
But we didn't do a whole show of Avenue Q. It would have been other Broadway medleys in there with it. So
sure.
In the Heights and we did fucking American Idiot.
Yes.
Awesome.
Broadway American Idiot. We did all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I can't imagine why they didn't let you do Repo in high school.
Oh my God, Repo in high school would be fun.
I Can't Say No is a really fun song. The most recent revival of Oklahoma was so audacious and brilliant. And Ali Stoker, who played that role, was the first actress in a wheelchair to win a Tony Award.
Yes.
So that was really cool.
That's awesome. I miss musicals.
Yeah, I miss theater so much.
I will say one of my favorite songs is Michael in the Bathroom from Be More Chill. Fucking love that song.
Which I was involved in, and we had the writer of that show, Joey Connis, on Front Center Mezzanine.
You haven't heard Michael in the Bathroom? Check it out. It's a great song.
My dream theater role was always Mrs. Lovett.
Yeah, that's such a great role.
Always.
We should do a PJ Campbell Network production of Sweeney Todd.
Also, really randomly, my other dream role, if they were to make it female, would be LeFou in Beauty and the Beast. I don't know why, but I always wanted.
That's a fun role too.
Because you get to sing the Gaston song,
which is an amazing song,
and like the Broadway one, they do that whole like cup number.
Yep. So good.
I think it'd be fun to be any of the three from Aladdin, Babcock, Omar, or Kazim.
Those are fun roles.
They're all super fun. Those guys.
Those are really fun roles. They have a great song in Act 2. I can't remember what it's called. Yes,
High Adventure is great. It's such a good song.
It's such a fun song. Yep, that's the one. Yep.
Miss theater.
Yeah, I was gonna say for me probably the hardest part of COVID is how long the theater shutdown is gonna be.
Yeah.
Pat and I were having lunch, like I think it was maybe last weekend or weekend before, down at this pizza place down on campus, and there's a streetcar down there, and it drove by when we were eating outside, and it was advertising. It still had like a lot of the old like advertisements on it, and it was just covered with all of the Broadway that was coming to Tucson this year and next year. So it was like just blazoned with like Hadestown, Hamilton, and like all this stuff. And we were like, "Oh, that's depressing."
Yeah. Saul wants to know if we saw the clips of the high school in New Jersey that did a stage production of Alien with unusually hyperactive eyes. I did, and then I love that Sigourney Weaver saw those clips too. That was incredible.
She showed up.
I think she did show up. That was really cool. I like when, even though it's technically illegal, I like when people take a movie and turn it to a stage play, and they're just like, let's see what we can do. Let's have fun.
I mean, if a high school does it, I mean,
like they're not doing it for profit, you know?
Yeah.
It's just the high school play.
There are some authors who, anyways.
Yeah.
But the Alien people were like, this shit is rad as F. Like,
it was. It looked incredible. The set design was amazing.
It was
great. I don't think Ridley Scott would let anyone sue them over that.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And speaking of Ridley Scott and Alien, I would love him to finish his Prometheus trilogy.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, Evil Dead the musical is awesome. We talked about that when we did Suddenly Soundtracks Fun Center Mezzanine a couple weeks ago. Talked about our favorite spooky musicals. That one definitely came up.
It's definitely Carrie.
I think one of down the street from us, there's a couple little small theaters that I think they do the Evil Dead musical. A buddy of mine's seen it a few times, and he said it's a
really popular show that gets done in a lot of regional theaters. It's fun.
They do like the blood spray on the audience and stuff.
Yep. In the first few rows, you wear a poncho because they really get at you with the blood.
Yes. Oh my god, I'm in.
Yeah.
I've also never seen, because that reminded me, I've never seen oh my god, Rocky Horror. I've never seen.
You've never seen the movie?
Live. No, I've seen the movie. I've never seen the live.
The shadow cast.
Yeah.
No, the state or an actual stage production, because they did it on Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
My mom saw it on Broadway, and she has the original playbill with Tim Curry in it, and she always
that's
points
awesome.
it out, and I'm like, I hate you because this is so cool.
They did a Rocky Horror charity event last night. Yeah, I don't think it's not the best show for high school. I mean, I'm sure all show choirs and stuff sing Seasons of Love, but then there are some other songs where you're like,
we did. Is it just called Rent? The song? We did Rent.
Yeah.
We did season.
How do you document real life when real life's feeling more like fiction each day, etc.? I don't want to sing too much and get sued.
I like life support.
I think you can do covers. Yeah, there's a lot of great songs in Rent
for sure.
I love Rent.
And we did In the Heights Rent. I really am blanking. Holy fuck! I think our girls choir did Wicked.
course.
Why can't the boys choir do Wicked? Wicked's for
why
boys too.
The boys, the year after I graduated, they did or 2 years after I graduated, they did an alumni show for our show choir, and they brought back a bunch of people who had been in the show choir previously.
Were you there?
I was there, and all the men for the alumni did Single Ladies.
Yes.
Oh, that's fun. By the way, folks, you heard it here first. Brandy played a hooker a number of times in theater in high school. Way to go, Brandy.
Wait, hold on. A number of times? As in different productions? Or in one production, multiple?
Sometimes I guess you just get typecast.
Speaking of like switching roles, gender roles and stuff around too, I'm sure Maxwell's probably seen it, but have you guys seen the Hamilton miscast of the Schuyler sisters with the three kids, the three boys?
Good.
It's
they're
so good.
good.
It's so awesome. If you haven't checked it out, look up Hamilton miscast.
Yeah, they do miscast every year, which is awesome.
Yeah. They're all great.
Fundraiser event, and actors purposefully are chosen to sing songs that they normally wouldn't be cast for in those shows.
On a barely related note, one thing that I have a guilty pleasure for is pop punk covers of female pop songs. I have a really good cover of Party in the USA by a pop punk band.
Oh.
I have a bunch of weird
Party in the USA is a bop.
That is a bop.
It is, yeah.
That is a straight up bop.
Or I have a few male covers of Misery Business.
Miley's great.
I don't know.
I'm a Miley fan.
Who isn't a Miley Cyrus fan?
I love
I came in like a wrecking ball. Good stuff.
People are going to judge me for this comment, but she was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and that was a really interesting discussion.
She's very
She's really interesting.
Very interesting.
You listen to Joe Rogan?
Occasionally. Yeah. Well, I knew Alex.
He's not my cup of tea.
Sean, Alex loves those.
I knew Alex had good taste.
The pop punk, they're great. There's some really good ones, and he'll play them, and I'll be like, "Oh my god, is this like what was it?" There was one, and it was
Machine Gun Kelly did a really good. Misery Business.
Machine Gun Kelly's whole new album is pop.
Oh my god,
it's great.
I've never heard Machine Gun.
Oh really? I haven't heard it. Check it out.
It's great.
Someone said that Eminem dissed him so hard that he just took a pivot and was like, "Well, I'm gonna stop rapping and do pop punk," and it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's really good.
But
I mean, he's also married to Megan Fox, so screw the rest of us, right? So.
I am not going to disagree with this comment that I'm putting up on the screen.
I will disagree with it, but not very hard.
It's like a light disagree, the least.
It's just a small piece of shit.
Jill and I have talked about it. I have my phone going for YouTube all day at work. Yes. There's not a single point in time where my earbud stops. So
even when you're installing stuff?
Yeah. Oh yeah. The whole time I'm working, there's something going on in my ear. Even when I'm having a full-on discussion with people.
Wet Willie.
I was gonna say, what exactly is going on in your ear, Sean?
Ooh, yeah. But it's more a matter of he will often have interesting guests.
Well, because he has them from all different.
Because he has them from all.
He'll go from having Bernie Sanders to having freaking Alex Jones.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think there's a line that you shouldn't cross if you want to keep credibility, and having someone like Alex Jones on is just a terrible choice.
Well, the one thing I will give him a defense on in that is he many times when he has Alex Jones on says, "What the fuck are you talking about? Can you tell the truth for once?" And
calls him out on his shit.
The thing about it is he's an opportunist, so he's going to do whatever he can to get traffic to his brand. So
I also think that he has a lot of views that are very not
stupid.
I don't agree with all his view on transgender people, and I don't agree with a lot of his views on. Sometimes he's a bit conspiratorial and a little quick to believe some bullshit.
Well, that's why he has Alex Jones on his show.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
that's a fucking
yeah. Look, everyone can listen to what they listen to. I can't support him or listen to stuff. I do listen to Mark Maron a lot. I like What the Fuck quite a bit.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
Well, I think that's a good point to leave it off for tonight. We've been going for almost 2 hours. Anything else you guys want to mention before we head out here tonight?
Yeah, a big one. If you haven't yet,
Sometimes he's a bit conspiratorial.
yeah.
Yeah. So Sean, why don't you talk a little bit about the Smash Cancer event that's going on?
Oh, okay. That wasn't what I was going to talk about, but a group of reactors and members of the community and personalities will be doing a 24-hour stream beginning on Saturday, the 14th of November. I don't know that we've announced the start time, but I can tell you right now, the start time will probably be 3 p.m. Pacific. And it will probably start off with some fun people and some jokes and some cocktails and a plaid jacket. It will probably start off with a plaid jacket. That's all I'm saying.
Who do I know that has a plaid jacket?
It's quite a mystery, isn't it?
The schedule is not public yet, so there's some. But I will tell you, there almost every reaction show or after show is there, and we are right now filling out the schedule with some more people, and I'm really excited for a few of the things that aren't status quo on there. There's
someone with dyed red hair may or may not be there.
Yeah, Max, there's a certain segment that you're probably going to be a part of that I am very excited for.
Me too.
I just realized the schedule, the tentative schedule is still on my toolbar here at the bottom of my computer. I'm like, oh, here it is.
Oh, look at that.
But yeah, so
we'll be having special appearances from Tim Allen, from Tom Hanks.
Franco will be on there.
Franco.
Ricardo
Franco.
Julia Roberts is going to stop by.
Here's someone I can tell you who will be there is John Kaiser. There will not be a live box. There will not be a live box.
It was talked about.
It was talked about.
And frankly, we feel that so much of the magic of box is the edit.
It's the editing for sure.
So that's true. Dave Franco is going to be there to talk about his films.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Generalissimo Franco. No.
But what I was
we're going to have a hologram of Che Guevara.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to say before we get out of here, go vote. I might listen to Joe Rogan, but I don't. I know this community is going to vote in a way that is voting with their conscience. And I think we all want to see change. You will not get me shirtless on that stream.
On that stream.
Well,
is that a tease?
No.
Stay tuned for the new show, Towel Towel.
Towel.
Hosted by, you know him, you love him, Time Franco.
That's me.
But yeah, it's really important. It's really important. Go vote. We need to see some change this November.
Go vote.
This is also true. I did sort of take my shirt off on the watch along.
And if you see a MAGA caravan, give them a
give him a good flippy.
Give him a good flippy.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Going to vote. If you haven't early voted, voting is Tuesday. If you have to wait in line, wait in line. Make your voice heard. It's more important than ever this year to do so. That being said, I'm going to run through a few of the things we have coming up in the channel, and then we'll all say where we can find. You can find us online, and then we'll head out. Tomorrow night, Monday, we are doing the first Merry Movie Squad watch along. I'm going to drop this banner off quick so you can see it better. Batman Returns. Janine the Machine's going to be joining us for that. That's going to be super duper fun. Tuesday, speaking of voting, is Election Day. We're doing the PJN Safe Space. We'll probably start earlier than 6 p.m. Pacific. But whatever time we go live, we'll tweet it out from our accounts, and you can join us. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna play some games. We just really want for us to have a place to be with people and have support. And if anyone wants to join us for that, we'll be there for you as well. Wednesday is a special Suddenly Soundtracks. If you guys watch our network, I'm sure you've seen the commercial with the gobbling balls, the Pac-Man commercial. Chris Clark is a part of his 24-hour stream next weekend, raising money for the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. And so as sort of a prologue for that, he's doing a special Suddenly Soundtracks with a lot of really big Twitch personalities. And then also a very small Twitch personality, this guy over here, Sean Sullivan, where they're going to be talking about their all-time favorite video game scores. And what I think is real cool is Sean is there sort of as a representative of the whole network. We all gave our input into our favorite scores. And so I think I've seen the list. I think it's a really good representation of all of our opinions.
Kelly from Florida, as Brandy says.
Yeah, Kelly from Florida. I'm obsessed with Kelly from Florida.
It is specifically retro video games, so everything has to be
N64 or earlier, right?
PS, PlayStation 1
or earlier. Oh,
right.
PS1 or earlier. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right. I think PS1 and N64 were the same generation.
Yeah. There. I will tell you now. I have one.
You cheated.
You
I cheated.
cheated.
Thursday night there's no show, so that's a great time to watch the Mandalorian water cooler chat if you haven't seen it already, or go back and watch Box 2 if you haven't, or check out any of the older episodes of our stuff. I hope we're gonna do Pokemon Adventure again soon. I know
I think we're doing it Tuesday.
Oh yeah, there might be some Pokemon Adventure as part of the safe space actually. So now that I defeated that rock hard guy Brock, and the Snorlax,
rock hard.
We'll see how those adventures continue. And then Friday night we're doing Die Hard. I hope Sean joins us because he's never seen it before. So to see Sean react to Die Hard live in live time would be awesome.
Lifetime.
I will say on camera that I will probably be there, and then off camera I will tell you I have a D&D game that night.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Well, man.
Yeah, boo.
And of course, finally, we have a Patreon, different tiers, different content. Thank you so much to all of our patrons, our executive producers, Brandy Parker and Ricardo Franco, and then our Ruby tier producers. So we got Brandon Buckingham, we got Kale the Youth Critic, Stephen White, Mike K, Bedore, and the lovely Molly Damon. Thank you all so much for the support. And thanks again to everyone who threw in a Streamlabs donation tonight. Your support does not go unnoticed. We love you. Tim, where can everyone find you online?
You can find me on Twitter, tfranco84. That is my birth year. So it means something.
What about salad?
Where's your salad?
I like a Cobb salad.
Cobb salad. Speaking of salad, if you know the Twitter and salad in joke, we have a TeePublic shirt designed by Jake Iacovetta available now to buy. Check out our TeePublic. I know a couple of you have already bought the Twitter and salad shirt. I'm gonna get one. And tomorrow, before the Merry Movie Squad shirts, I'll be putting up 2 different designs of Merry Movie Squad shirts on the TeePublic that you can get. That Chris Clark designed. So that's going to be awesome. Jill, where can everyone find you online?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram, Jilly Marie, 2 Y's, 2 E's. You can also catch me over on A Certain Point of View on YouTube. We are a Schmodown reaction show. Main shows are on Sundays. We have a lot of fun. It's a good time. Come hang out.
Yeah. Sully himself has never seen Die Hard, Saul.
Sorry, Saul. I've seen Live Free or Die Hard.
That one's not bad, but you need to see the original. I think you should cancel your D&D game so you can watch Die Hard with us. John McClane is more important than D&D.
Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
That is the TV edit. All right, you non-Die Hard seeing schmuck. Where can everyone find you online?
You can find me at Suit Up Sully on Twitter. That's suit as in the thing that I used to wear. That is up as in the direction, and Sully as in my nickname. And then Sean Sully on Twitter. or Twitch.
Yeah, please go. Not only go follow Sully on Twitch, but subscribe. Give him some money.
I mean, don't subscribe until I start streaming regularly.
Right.
Because I feel bad.
Subscribe when
right
he's
now-
live, also, so he can react to
I
it.
like using your emotes on other people.
When are
Right.
you playing more Twitch games, Sean? Huh?
Well, it depends on. There's a lot going on right now, schedule wise.
There's a lot going on right
Tuesday, I will be here. Wednesday, I will be here. Thursday, I will be over on Rachel Silvestrini's channel, doing movies, music,
now.
what mayhem.
Oh, cool.
Friday, I am not on the internet. Maybe Friday morning, I might do some Twitch. Saturday, I will be on the Gucciverse, and then here talking Mandalorian. And if you're wondering why would you want to hear me talk about it twice, that's because they're both very different shows and perspectives are very different.
Yep. That's awesome. There's a lot of great stuff coming up. We hope to see you there for all of it. You can find me on Twitter at Cinemaxwell, Instagram, Cinemaxwell Inc. Thank you all for unwinding with us. We will see you tomorrow for Batman Returns. Love you guys.
Bye.
So whenever they